So why don't we call it like, no one knows how toilets work? Maybe? So a question people ask me all the time is, how do I get a person or a group of people to go along with my idea? Sometimes it's, how do I get an executive or a board to follow my advice? Sometimes it's, how do I get my team to change their approach? And sometimes it's, how do I pitch my business to a new client? To answer the question, I want to tell you a story about toilets. So a few years ago, a group of researchers asked hundreds of people the following question. On a scale of 0 to 10, how well do you understand how a toilet works? So 0 is nothing, 10 is everything. And the average response to the researchers was 7 out of 10. So people aren't building toilets, but they're not surprised when it flushes. The researchers then asked people to explain in as much detail as possible how a toilet works. And as you might expect, people didn't do so well at this part of the research. Most people got that there's a bowl, some water, there's a tank, but otherwise not so much. The researchers then asked people to re-rate their understanding of how a toilet works, and this time the average response fell to 4 out of 10. So that gap, 7 to 4, that's known as the illusion of explanatory depth. And it exists for almost all things about which you could have knowledge. Not just toilets, but zippers, bicycles, cars. They've even done it for complicated stuff like climate change or tax policy. People always think they know more than they do. Now, there are lots of interesting reasons why the gap exists. Mostly it has to do with how your memory works. And in the seminar, we'll unpack these reasons using stories, interactions, discussions, the kind of stuff that you've come to expect from me and tell people. But here's why all of this is interesting. It turns out that people thinking they know more than they do is a major reason those people say no to your good ideas or decline to follow your advice. Because think about it. A person whose understanding of a situation is 7 out of 10 or higher, that person isn't listening to you. Why should they? As far as they're concerned, they have a pretty good understanding of the situation. But if you can help that person realize that their understanding is closer to 4 out of 10, now that person is open to different views. Yeah, so believe it or not only do people not know how toilets work, a lot of people think electricity is involved in toilets. I think it adds to the ambiance. Should we take a break? Is that what I'm hearing? No? Okay, you guys keep taking a break and I'll keep working. Okay, make sure you cut as little of this as possible. No, it's too dark. You feel comfortable?
Action.
How's your... Maybe we should just like do the whole... Maybe we can have like a script here or something. So at one point I can just pull out and there's a picture of a toilet maybe. Who am I dealing with here? Should we take another smoke break so you can smoke in the apartment? What happens if that... Can we just pause for a sec? What happens if I... Oh my God.